Whatever happened to Rockstar's agent? From Grand Theft Auto to Red Dead Redemption, Rockstar Games has produced some of the best-selling, critically acclaimed games of all time, and it's easy to see why the company carries so much clout in the gaming industry. No doubt many of us have fond memories of cruising the streets of San Andreas, gunning down enemies at bullet time as Max Payne, or exploring the American West in Red Dead. However, for all of Rockstar's surefire hits, there is one title in its catalogue that remains something of a mystery I hope to get to the bottom of, or at least shed a little light on. Whatever happened to Rockstar's agent? In 2007, at that year's E3, it was announced by Sony that Rockstar had begun work on a brand new franchise which would launch exclusively on the PlayStation 3. Soon after, Sony Computer Entertainment America's Director of Third-Party Relations, Michael Shurrock, published a post on the official PlayStation blog which read, "As part of our long-standing relationship with Rockstar and the incredible success for both companies with the cultural icon that is Grand Theft Auto, we've agreed to the PlayStation exclusive rights of the next great franchise from Rockstar Studios." Nothing more was revealed, though it was confirmed that this new game from Rockstar was not the previously announced crime game LA Noire, which was only published by Rockstar and released on several platforms in 2011. Shorrock later said, "Rockstar really wanted to make a game that you can only truly do on PS3, and said the reason Sony decided to lock the game down as an exclusive to the PlayStation was because it believed the new franchise would, and I quote, set the bar for the rest of the industry." Then president of Take-Two Interactive, Rockstar's parent company, stated the game would be genre-defining and promised it would deliver a whole new way of experiencing video games that we haven't really seen before. It seems both Sony and Rockstar were feeling very confident about the title, and it's not hard to see why there was a great deal of anticipation for Rockstar's new project. Little more was revealed about the game for some time, but then, at E3 2009, one of Rockstar's founders, Dan Houser, officially announced the game, revealing it to be named Agent. Houser described Agent as a game the company had wanted to make for years, and that through it Rockstar hoped to create a unique gaming experience for players. Ben Feder, Take-Two's then CEO, said he believed the game would reach the same levels of success as the Grand Theft Auto franchise and would become yet another great Rockstar North franchise title, especially given the fact that its development was being overseen by Rockstar game founders Dan and Sam Houser. Feder later stated that the reason the game would be exclusive to the PS3 was because of the increased support offered by Sony should it be exclusive to their console. Later that year, in a Q&A section on their blog, Rockstar indicated that Agent may be released as early as 2010, an encouraging sign for all those eager to play it. The following year, in June of 2010, Agent was still yet to be released, but Take-Two confirmed the game was still on track as a PlayStation 3 exclusive. Almost another year later, nearly 2 years after the initial announcement of the game, Take-Two stated the game was still in active development, though despite the years since its reveal, the game itself still had yet to be shown to the public. To make matters worse, at E3 2011, Sony Computer Entertainment America's CEO Jack Tretton stated he was unsure about Agent's exclusivity to the PlayStation 3 and said it was ultimately a decision for Rockstar Games to make. It had become all too clear at this point that development for Agent wasn't going smoothly. In the summer of 2011, a former Rockstar North environmental artist named Lee Donaghy, who had worked on Grand Theft Auto 4, revealed he had also worked on Agent, and showed the world its first glimpse of the game when he posted pictures of it on his online resume. The pictures show a number of interior designs with a lone figure exploring them. The images appear to have been created in 2009 and certainly caused a renewed interest in Rockstar's long-awaited game, but it would be some time before Take-Two would comment, and it wasn't encouraging. During a financial report in August 2012, the company's chairman and CEO, Strauss Zelnick, was queried about the status of Agent. His answer was simple: "We haven't announced anything about that title." With the announcement of the PlayStation 4 in February 2013, it was speculated that Agent may have been moved to become an exclusive to the PS4, which may have caused its delay, and turned out to be the case for another long-awaited PlayStation exclusive, The Last Guardian, which was originally announced as a PlayStation 3 exclusive in 2009, but was later re-announced as a PlayStation 4 title and released in late 2016. As the first lineup of games were announced for the PS4, there was no mention of Agent, despite the fact that Rockstar North had signed on to support the new console. During a roundtable media session hosted shortly after the PS4's launch, Sony Worldwide Studio boss Shuei Yoshida was asked if the game was still a PlayStation 3 title, to which he replied, "You are asking the wrong person. I have some knowledge, but I'm not in a position to talk about it." At this point, it was more or less accepted that Agent was in development hell, and that it was unlikely to ever see the light of day. However, a small ray of hope appeared when in 2013, Take-Two renewed the trademarks for the name Agent, indicating it still had plans for the property. Alas, this hope turned out to be false, and the game would go quiet for another 2 years, but that silence would be broken by another leak that gave the public a look at the game. In December 2015, several new screenshots of the game were leaked by former Rockstar North artist Darren Charles Hatton via his online portfolio. The screenshots were taken between 2009 and 10, and Hatton stated that the art team for Agent were reassigned to the development of Grand Theft Auto 5, and said he was not sure if the project will ever be published. A few years later, in December 2015, Take-Two once again renewed the Agent trademark, once again indicating that maybe there was a glimmer of hope for the project. Another leak occurred the following year when alleged images of concept art featuring a snowy setting and a character designs appeared online, though in this instance it's unclear who the leaker was. In November 2018 it was reported that the United States Patent and Trademark Office had stated the Agent trademark had been abandoned by Take-Two, a strong indication that the game was officially cancelled. In 2019, Polygon published an article which shed more light on the troubled development of Agent, which I'll link in the description along with my other sources. Polygon interviewed a total of 8 people for the story, and all but one spoke under the condition of anonymity, fearing repercussions from Rockstar. Rockstar purchased Angel Studios in 2002 after Angel had worked with Rockstar on Smuggler's Run at the Midnight Club games. During this time, Angel had been working on the PS2 game Red Dead Revolver for Capcom, though Rockstar acquired it on the purchase of Angel, and thus it was eventually released as a Rockstar game, and development credit goes to Rockstar San Diego, the new name Angel Studios was given after it was sold to Rockstar. A number of people interviewed stated that things changed after Rockstar purchased Angel, that they felt they were no longer treated as a family, and that Rockstar, including co-founders Sam and Dan Houser, felt Angel, now Rockstar San Diego, needed to prove itself. Thus, the newly acquired studio was given a new project, Agent. The team were tasked with creating a demo for Agent, and it's reported that there was an enormous amount of pressure to get this done right. Employees were expected to work as much as possible, only going home to sleep. One former employee described it as crunch, 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 and this was just for a demo. Despite all this, the developers were excited by the result of their work, and it was described as more cinematic than other Rockstar games at the time, with an emphasis on set pieces and historical accuracy. The demo had a level where the player was chased by a helicopter with buildings exploding, rocket launchers blowing doors off structures, and hang gliders landing on the roof of the White House. The demo was a success, and Rockstar San Diego was given the go-ahead to begin development on the full game. Early development on the game saw the creation of an open-world area in Washington and a smaller, more linear level set in Cairo, though the Washington area was apparently the only one that got close to completion. The idea was that Washington would serve as the main hub for the player, and that players would travel to different countries to play more linear, set-piece driven missions. Players would have a number of weapons to arm themselves with, as well as gadgets such as briefcases that doubled as a sort of go-kart, and a drone camera players could use to take pictures. Despite work going well on gameplay, it's reported there was also a lot of pressure for the story to be completed, which was made more difficult by the fact Rockstar kept changing its mind on how the story should unfold. It said the developers couldn't keep up with the changes that kept being demanded of the game, despite working flat out. I don't want to just rewrite Polygon's article, but the level of crunch the developers are said to have been under is unacceptable, to the point where employees started suffering from health issues. To make matters worse, 3 people with close ties to Rockstar San Diego died within a short period of time. I'm not suggesting they died because of the toxic environment they had or were experiencing, but it's a subject that was difficult for the people interviewed to discuss, and I urge you all to read Polygon's article to get an insight into just how toxic video game developing can be. Work continued on Agent for another few years, but there were difficulties during this time, reconciling the Houser brothers' vision for the game, and the team weren't really getting it, especially given that Housers were influenced by a British show called The Professionals, whereas this was a game set in the US being developed by a US team. After years of work improving the engine they were working on, Rage, in order to better build an open world, it seems Agent became less and less of a priority for the higher-ups at Rockstar, and in the end the work done on Rage's engine was used not for Agent, but for Red Dead Redemption. Work on Agent was paused, and almost immediately the staff began work on Redemption, which came as a shock to many of the developers, who felt Agent was set to be Rockstar's next big thing. Work on Redemption began in 2005, and it was released in 2010. It seems work never resumed on Agent, and some reports suggest that a number of assets, locations and missions were reworked and put into GTA 5. Since October 2021, the URL for the website for Agent has redirected to Rockstar's official website, and the game is no longer listed under Rockstar's title of games. This, it seems, marks the end for Agent. Despite over a decade of speculation and rumours, we still know very little about what Agent was supposed to be. We do know that a press release for the game described it as a stealth action game set in the late 1970s during the Cold War and would take players into the world of counterintelligence, espionage and political assassinations. It's been speculated the stealth action nature of the gameplay would take cues from Rockstar's previous title, Manhunt, but this is unconfirmed. Like many fans, I would be eager to learn more about what Rockstar intended for the game, even if it remains scrapped. It's interesting to imagine Rockstar's take on the spy thriller genre, and I imagine it being a mix of games like Metal Gear Solid, Splinter Cell and LA Noire, with nods to classic spy films like James Bond. We may never know the full truth behind Agent, and given that both Rockstar and Take-Two seem to be more focused on supporting GTA and Red Dead Online than creating new titles, it seems unlikely either company will choose to revive this fallen game. Nonetheless, it's interesting to ponder what might have been, and how Agent may have changed the gaming landscape had it been released. Here's hoping someone close to the game one day decides to open up and reveal more about this mysterious game. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a comment, give it a like, and take a look at my channel and consider subscribing. That really helps me out. If you'd like to see me investigate other games that, got announced but were never released, then please let me know in the comments. If you know something about Agent that maybe I missed, please leave that in the comments, and I'll see you next time.